and do a whole boxing review. Don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment while you're here.
Today we're going to be talking about El Rios Soto. Rios Soto, you know, this guy, I mean, he just had a fight with Brandon Rios. I want to say about a couple of weeks ago, and he pretty much came out of a 2-year retirement, no activity at all, and then took this fight with Brandon Rios. He had at least around 8 weeks to train for this fight. Mm-hmm. For like some of the casual boxing fans that maybe don't know much about Humberto Soto just because of the inactivity the last couple of years. Humberto Soto is a Mexican professional boxer. He's a veteran in the sport of over 20 years. He's accomplished a lot. He's actually had 2 weight classes, having held the WBC super featherweight title from 2008 through 2009, and the WBC lightweight title from 2010 to 2011. He was born May 11 of 1980. He's at the age of 38 right now. Originally from Los Mochis, Mexico, but fights out of Tijuana currently. But this guy has had an amazing career over the years. I followed him throughout the years, and he's a very crafty guy. They don't call him a Zorrita for no reason. That means crafty, fast fox in English, his nickname. So, you know, we all know that he was not supposed to beat Brandon Rios. Brandon Rios has been the active fighter. He was signed for 3 fights by Eddie Hearn to fight through the zone. He won his first fight against Alvarez's brother, and he actually had a stoppage in that fight and looked great. So it looked like he was on his way, but they chose the wrong opponent in Humberto Soto because he's a veteran. This guy uses his experience really well. What was your observation?
Soto, I mean, really just pretty much just used his experience over Brandon Rios in the fight. I mean, he was on the inside fighting Brandon Rios' fight. It seemed staying there just brawling, but he was able to slip and counter and land the more effective punches. So he still came out victorious. Now that leads to him fighting against, what's his name, Jesse Vargas?
Jesse Vargas, yeah.
And I think he's going to lose that fight.
Yeah. Let's keep in mind, I think Brandon Rios was supposed to win that fight, and he was supposed to face Jesse Vargas. If he beats Jesse Vargas, this is going to be a contention for him to get another world title.
What do you think the odds of that are, though? Of him actually beating Jesse Vargas?
Well, first let me discuss, so we're going to move on into now Humberto Soto and his next opponent, which is going to be Jesse Vargas. That fight's going to happen on April 26th. It's going to be on a Friday. Let me just start with a little bit of information here. So Soto, in the last few fights, his last fight was, of course, as we mentioned, was against Brandon Rios. He's had wins against Edgar Puerta, which had a 25-10 record. His last loss for Humberto Soto was against Antonio Orozco back in 2015, October 3rd. I watched that fight, and to me, they ripped off Humberto Soto in that fight. I really thought that he clearly beat Orozco, but because Orozco was
the up-and-coming,
the up-and-coming, I think that, they gave him the close call. However, besides that, he also beat John Molina Jr. We know John Molina Jr. is, an aggressive fighter.
Who did he just have a fight with? Omar Figueroa?
Who?
What's the guy you just said?
Yes, he did. And then he also fought Juan Carlos Abreu, and won against him. That guy is a power puncher from Argentina. So those are just some of the opponents that this crafty guy, Humberto Soto, has conquered. Humberto Soto's record is 69 wins, 37 KOs, 9 losses, and 2 draws, which is a pretty darn aggressive, really good record for over the years. And his opponent's record is 28 wins, with 10 KOs, 2 losses, and 2 draws. That is for Jesse Vargas. Now, Jesse Vargas, his last 2 fights was against Thomas Delorme. You know, Delorme is a good fighter, not great fighter. He had a draw. He had a draw with against Adrian Broner. His last loss was against Manny Pacquiao, and then before that, he lost to Timothy Bradley. So every time he's trying to step up to elite fighters, he has lost those 2 fights.
Yeah.
One of the best wins he's had in his resume was against Antonio DeMarco. He beat him by unanimous decision, and then he TKO'd Saddam Ali. So I'm just saying those are the 2 biggest names in his resume in which that he had, you know, some wins.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good fight for Jesse Vargas to get experience against a guy like Soto. Maybe that'll help him actually beat one of the more elite guys next time he tries again.
Yeah. Now, you did mention earlier that you feel like, you know, Humberto Soto may not win this fight.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be I mean, he matched up pretty well with Brandon Rios because Brandon Rios is just a guy that's just going to stand there. He's not that fast. He doesn't move that great. He doesn't do anything flashy. He just kind of stands there. So, I mean, they matched up well, and he just pretty much outpunched him, and that was really it. Jesse Vargas, on the other hand, is somebody that knows how to box, knows how to move. I think that can give Soto trouble. I know he's a crafty guy, has a lot of experience, but I don't think he'll be fast enough to keep up with him. I don't think he'll have the stamina to keep up with him either.
Yeah, I see Jesse Vargas. I mean, he's the younger guy. I think he's probably going to have a little more speed, and he's a little more of a technical fighter than was Brandon Rios. So I think he's going to be using his jab a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, before, I was a little skeptical with Humberto Soto against Brandon Rios, only because Brandon Rios was active, and Humberto Soto wasn't for 2 years. Like, I always thought there was a possibility that he can actually beat Rios, which obviously he did. But I was a little skeptical of it. But he showed his craftiness. He showed that he can still pull it off, even after not being active for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And beat Rios. As you said, though, Rios is a come-forward type of guy. And Jesse Vargas is a little more technical. But I also think that the fight against Brandon Rios, I think is going to turn on that fire for Humberto Soto, because he saw what he was able to do. And I think that's going to fire him up to actually, he's thinking in his head right now, he's thinking world championship again. Yeah. He'll be a third. If he actually beats Jesse Vargas, he'll get another chance to become world champion. He'll be a 3-time world champion. So I think he's going to train harder. Actually, I randomly was talking to him over the phone and kind of interviewed him a little bit. And one of the things he's going to be working on was he said he was going to work on his shoulder power. So for this particular fight, I think he's going to be looking for even a knockout against Jesse Vargas. But I mean, I think it's going to be a great fight. I mean, I can't wait.
That probably also leads to his stamina issues, though, that he's banking on a knockout, which, well, I wouldn't say is too great of a sign if he thinks he's already going to have to just knock him out to beat him. So,
well, this fight, I'm not going to count out Humberto Soto. I'm actually going to say that, you know, he's going to go in there hungry. He might even surprise Jesse Vargas. He has the experience. He has a better resume. He's beat the better fighters in the past. I think the Rios fight just turned on the ignition switch for him. You know, with that inactivity, I think he got the rust out. And I don't know. I think he might be able to pull it off again. It's like an opportunity for him. Yeah. Somebody like with his experience is not going to let go of an opportunity like this.
I mean, he has nothing to lose, so.
Yeah, and everything to gain.
All right, well, we'll be attaching the interview with along with this video. That way you guys can go ahead and see the phone interview my dad had with Humberto Soto in the video.
La del Pantera Neri y la del Spencer contra el García, no sé.
Sí, ¿la van a ver?
No sé. No, Humberto no ve peleas.
No. Humberto, ¿cómo te sientes en ese peso de 155 o 54?
151.
Va a ser en 151.
Ajá. ¿Te sientes fuerte?
De hecho,
¿Te mirabas
esta pelea,
fuerte?
en esta pelea con Ríos era 147. Yo di 146.4 y Ríos dio 151, casi 152. Me sentí muy bien, muy rápido, muy fuerte.
¿Te cansaste al último?
No, me sentí muy bien. Era normal de mucho tiempo inactivo, regresar a una pelea grande, sí.
Ok. Sí,
No me cansé tanto, fue más cargar el peso. El peso de él fue lo que me cansó más.
que no te has
Porque
puesto
no
con
me-
ese
no me-
peso.
Él estaba muy pesado, él andaba arriba de 170 libras el día de la pelea.
Pues te
Y
miras muy bien.
yo traía 154, 156 libras.
Sí, pues eso es lo único que te afectó, parece, pero técnicamente todo te miraste perfecto en esa pelea. Buen plan que tuvieron,
Así es. Y esperamos en este también a vernos así con el favor de Dios.
Ok, ¿cómo va el entrenamiento?
Ahí vamos empezando apenas, vamos empezando de cero.
¿No van a hacer algo diferente para ese entrenamiento?
¿Cómo?
¿Van a hacer algo diferente para el entrenamiento?
Vamos a trabajar un poquito más la fortaleza en los brazos.
Ok, está bien. Sí, pues te mirabas muy rápido en esta última pelea. ¿Me oyes?
Gracias. Sí.
Ok, no estaba seguro si se movían o no. No, le digo a Soto que se miraba bien rápido y noté como al último del round, los últimos 30 segundos, estaba tirando muchas combinaciones para asegurar que ganaba los rounds. Fue una cosa bien inteligente de Soto, bien inteligente.
Gracias.
Más o menos.
No, más o menos.
Mira, Ríos dicen que pega, que aguanta, y a mí ni siquiera me pudo agarrar con un golpe en seco.
No, pues tu movimiento estaba súper, Digo, se miraba muy bonito cuando estaba tirando muchos golpes y combinaciones, pero cuando enseñaban los replays, no estaba pegando nada. Estabas con todo el movimiento que dabas, todos los golpes estaban resbalando, ¿me entiendes? No golpes buenos estaban llegando. So,
Que no te conectaba, pues. No,
pero pues en toda tu carrera sí has sido muy técnico. Así que ahora con toda la experiencia que tienes, tantos años de pelear, pues está canijo. Pues mucha suerte esta pelea que viene. Si ganas esta pelea vas a ganar oportunidad de otro combate mundial.
No sabemos todavía. Ahorita hay que enfocarnos en este ya.
Ajá,
Así
pues,
como lo hicimos en la anterior.
pues sí, ¿verdad? Mira, si ganas esta pelea, a lo mejor Lehern te va a querer hacer sign. ¿Cómo la ves?
¿Dizón que lo firma o quién?
Pues sí, es lo que te digo, al tazón.
Pues Dizón se quedó sorprendido de Eddie Hearn cuando
Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and thank you.
Can't wait for this fight. We'll do another follow-up video. Thank you guys.
Ciao.